Hey Katie! Today is the 4th of November and therefore the 4th day of NaNoWriMo. Sorry this is late. We just had an incident where the cat decided it would be a brilliant idea whilst I was trying to feed him to knock over the little tub of turpentine and then stood in it. So I tried washing his paw off and then I don't think I got rid of it all because his paw started to swell and that was disgusting. So we just went and gave him another bath. Hence why this is late because, yes. It was very difficult to. Do you know how difficult it is to bathe a cat who doesn't want to be bathed? Very, is the answer to that. I think he's a much happier cat now. He looks like a much happier cat. Anyway, so, well, I didn't spend my frees this afternoon working, and I still have a lot of homework to do for tomorrow and Wednesday, including a 200-word German essay. Yay. Again. So, it's very unlikely that I'll get any more writing done, though I do say that my word count's gone up to 20,500 words, so, you know, don't count your chickens until they've hatched. Hopefully, maybe much later tonight, I might get a chance to just add a couple more 100 words in, and that will be all good. So yeah, if I do manage that, it will be on tomorrow's update that I'll tell you about it. So what have I done since I last spoke to you? I had done this when I last spoke to you, but I haven't talked to you about it yet, which is very exciting. I've written out all the character profiles for my minor characters, which I have said, but I want to talk about them because they make me really excited. I love my minor characters, they're brilliant. Now, quite a few of them are taken from the canon. So, I've mentioned before Old Woman Josie. She's instrumental near the end, I think. I love her. She's such a brilliant character. Oh, I don't know whether you listened to Welcome to Night Vale yet. Oh, you need to so I can fangirl at you. Old Woman Josie is brilliant, and so are her angels that don't exist. They are so cool. There are a lot of things in Night Vale that exist, but nobody's allowed to acknowledge, or you pretend that they don't exist. I don't know why, just because the government is a tyranny, I suppose. I always sort of picture the secret police running around keeping control, sort of like riot police with those, or is it in America? Is it SWAT teams who run around going hot and ha? I've been watching the Blues Brothers too much. Yeah, the ones that like pretend they're ninjas and they're all dressed in like bulletproof vests and the helmets that look like the ones from the Daft Punk video. I'm ridiculous at pop culture references. Yeah, I sort of imagine them running around like that with like machine guns and stuff that just fire peas or something ridiculous, or paintball shots instead of actual bullets. Since the whole you won't know about this. I'll shut up now. It's a spoiler. There was a campaign about guns not killing people. That's not technically a spoiler because it's not even the best bit. Anyway, what was I on about? Oh, my minor characters. Okay, so who should I start with? The canon ones, obviously I mentioned Old Woman Josie, but because this story mainly deals with Carlos and Cecil, and Carlos is basically alone in Night Vale because he doesn't understand what's going on, except for his assistants and for Cecil, because Cecil is the only one who's sort of willing to talk to him as a human being, whereas the rest of them or the rest of the citizens are all like, you're not from Night Vale, because, you know, normally people from outside of Night Vale don't survive for very long. And yeah, Carlos does because he's just awesome. And yay to Cecil for knowing that from the start, that Carlos was awesome. But yes, so there's all that side of things, the characters I've talked about before who are in the canon. But because it's mainly Cecil and Carlos, we know Cecil's interns are mentioned a lot, but sporadically. And he tends to have a different one every episode, and he tends to accidentally, on purpose, we think. I'm pretty sure it's accidental, but at the same time he doesn't seem to care much. And he kills them on basically suicidal missions. So if there's anything dangerous in Night Vale, and he pretends not to think that it's dangerous, or he gets a message from the government telling him that it's not dangerous, and he sort of sends his intern out to investigate, and more likely than not they never come back. And he tends to do a little speech saying, to their family, and as far as I know, it's the same word for word every time. So there's all Cecil's interns, especially Dana. Dana is getting to be quite a famous intern because she's the one that's lasted more than one episode. And then we've sort of had about 3 separate mentions of the fact that Carlos has lab assistants, but that's all you get. You don't get names or anything. So I thought it would be really fun to create some lab assistants for Carlos to have, and believe me, that has been so much fun. Cecil's interns I've not given much personality because he doesn't give them much personality. They just do their jobs, and I have a bit of a headcanon that he yells at them a lot when he's not on air. Because I'm weird like that, and I sort of get that thing that Cecil would be like stressy about the show every time, like get really uptight and nervous about going on air, and then obviously as soon as he's on, he's like smooth and suave as ever. Anyway, yeah, so Carlos's lab assistants have a lot more personality. The first one is Alice. Her name's Alice. She's quite short, a little bit dumpy, very meticulous about everything. And the reason she likes science is because there are facts and rules that she can follow, and she can stick to those, and she knows what's going to happen because she knows the rules. Obviously in Night Vale that is turned completely on its head, and believe me, Alice is such fun to play with. I've only written one scene with her in at the minute, but that was the scene that brought up the word count, and already I'm thinking of revising, bringing her back basically, because I was sort of running on the premise that Carlos's lab assistants would be slightly less expandable than Cecil's interns, but at the same time pretty, Carlos wouldn't be as careless with them, but because they're all investigating the dangerous things together, basically. So occasionally you're gonna get a few, people being killed by corpses dropping on them and being ingested by librarians and stuff. It's unavoidable in a place like Night Vale. So yeah, but I have given them more personality. Alice is my favourite. She's the only one that I've written with a proper scene yet. But there are 3 others, and basically they were sent along with Carlos, so they're all outsiders as well. They were sent along with Carlos to gain some experience for their their training course or whatever. So I actually need to do some proper research into that, because most of Welcome to Night Vale you just research by listening to the episodes, because the town does not follow rules. Whereas because they're coming from the outside world, they need to have an actual proper excuse to be doing what did I call it? Experience, to be gaining experience. So yeah, that's quite important actually. That's some of the only research that I'm going to do for this one, which is slightly terrible really. Actually, no, I lie. I did do some very in-depth research into oh god, that's a massive spoiler. Oh, I can't tell you that yet. That's like the biggest plot point. Okay. But I did a lot of research for something else, so I was lying when I said I didn't do much research. That was quite a while ago, when I was planning back in September, when I was beginning to think about writing a thing. Because I'd forgotten about NaNoWriMo until you sent me a reminder, like when we started in year 12, you sent me like an email reminder or something to my school email account, and I found it and went, oh, NaNoWriMo, and then even though I didn't sign up 2 months in advance, I started planning. So I've had the plans in the works forever. Yeah, no, that's all I can think of to say today. Okay, see you. DFTBA.